everyone, this is Cameron with the Burnside team at Keller Williams Real Estate. So on today's video, we're going to talk about Zillow and their Zestimates. This question has been brought up a number of times when people were asking me, Cameron, Zestimate of Zillow says my house is worth X. Is that what I can really get for my house? Or I'll meet with a client and they'll say, hey, Zillow said that I can sell it for this, so this is what I would like to list it for. So I'd like to help people understand exactly how Zillow is coming up with their Zestimates, because there's a lot of confusion around it. First of all, Zillow is a company that is acquiring leads. So it's done a really great job for them in the sense that a lot of people will go to them and say, hey, I want to find out what my house is worth. There are technically a ton of companies who do the exact same thing that Zillow does. They've just done the best job as far as marketing it and getting people to click on their links. So what will happen is if someone says, I want to find out my house is, you go and you put your home address in. Zillow will take a radius around your house and it's going to calculate the value of your house based on a certain valuation from the other houses. Now, how do they come up with that? Let me pause right there and tell you how it works in different states. Utah is what's called a non-disclosure state. It simply means that if you sell your house to me, and this is off the market, we don't have a realtor involved, it's a private sale, no one else knows how much you sold your house to me for. They can't go on record or anything to see that. They can, however, see how much the loan was for if there was a loan. It's called a trust deed. So someone could say, well, I don't know what Cameron paid for the house, but I know he has a loan on it for $400,000. But I don't know if he's paid $500,000 for it, $600,000, $1 million, no one knows, except the parts in the transaction. That's because we're in a non-disclosure state. In other states, that information is public. So if you sold your house to me, someone could find out how much that transaction amounted to be, even if this wasn't sold to a real estate agent. Now back to the example with Zillow. The problem that we're seeing is that Zillow will take this area and they'll say, well, your house is worth X based on the fact that we find these other houses around it that are actively being sold, but they're not closed. They haven't received offers. So they could be very much overpriced. They could be different types of homes. I mean, they have very much different condition than yours does. So it really throws that number off. How much? Well, a lot of people had asked me this, and so our board actually did a study as to the validity as to those values that were being brought up. The way they did it is they took a targeted area and we found the number of homes that had sold in that area. So we had actual data. We could see on the MLS what someone paid for, closed on that house for. So we have the fact there. We then go back and look and see what did Zillow estimate that house was worth. So in the studies that we've done, it shows that Zillow's estimate has been wrong 90% of the time. So you have a 1 in 10 chance of being right with Zillow. Now, if they're wrong 90% of the time, how much are they wrong? Well, the margin of error was from 8 to 40% of the value of a property. So a significant amount is what in some cases Zillow was off. So then how are they right 10% of the time? This has to come down to the numbers. So if you look at your tax assessment, I would say 90% of the time too, I'm going to tell you that's not an accurate reading as to what your house value is, because the way the tax assessment works is that it's basing it off of what it's been assessed for based off of a certain formula or a study that the assessor is doing, and that number can fluctuate. So in most cases, I'll tell people right now, if your estimate is saying X on a tax assessment, it's going to be probably sold for more. With Zillow, in a lot of cases, I have been telling people their estimate was X, and I'm telling them in a lot of cases it's probably less. But it can, based on the fact that there's just a certain amount of number of homes out there being sold. There have been cases where someone will say, well, I'd like to sell my house for this, and this is what Zillow is saying. And I'll do my research and say, yes, that is actually about what I would sell it for as well. So I'm not saying it can't be right, but vast majority of the time, 90%, margin of error, 8 to 40% being off. If you want to know the true value of your house, give me a call and we can run comparables and show you exactly what similar homes have sold for right in your area in the last 30, 60, 90 days, and we can see what they actually closed for, thus giving you the real value on your house. So if you want to know the value, give me a call and we can get that figured out. And as always, I really appreciate you keeping me in mind for your referrals and for the people that you know. Couldn't do this without you. Have an awesome day and look forward to talking to you soon.